might be hard to believe, but we're actually out during the day fishing. Look at it. It is absolutely glorious today. I'm down with Mark fishing. We didn't really know where to go. We've been bouncing ideas off each other all week, literally all week. We were going to go and do some flounder fishing, then we thought about doing some place fishing down Eastbourne Way, and then we looked at Chesil, but it's really, really windy today. And at the last minute, literally last night, we decided on Gilkicker, so we're down at Gilkicker today. It's low tide at the moment. It's about 10:15 at the moment, so I think it's low, but it's going to start ebbing any minute. I think high tide is about 3:20 this afternoon, so we've got plenty of time. Got the bivvy on the side because it is really, really windy today. I think it's 20-mile-an-hour winds, and it's going to be getting up to about 30 today. So luckily I've got the camera set inside the shelter so you don't get any wind noise. But yeah, I've got 2 rods out on Bluey at the moment. They're not fishing out too far. Just trying to keep it nice and simple. I don't think the fish are going to be far out if there's any about. Fishing's hard at the moment everywhere you go. So we're under no illusions that it's going to be fast and frantic. But I've got 2 rods out on Bluey. I have got some squid as well, and I've got half pound of ragworm. And the other little rod over there is just fishing literally about 15 yards out with a running ledger and like a wishbone with two ragworms on. So gonna see how that goes. If we start catching fish on the scratching rod, I might put 2 over onto that. But we'll see how the session pans out. But say at the moment, sun's shining. I don't think I'm going to be able to put the drone up today, unfortunately, because it is windy and I think it'll just blow away. But at least you can see some fishing today, and it's not night time. So get back to you if anything happens. So we've probably been fishing for about an hour now. I wound the ragworm rod in after about 20 minutes and the baits were pretty much untouched, so I put them straight back out again. So I've given them another 20 minutes, I wound in and they were pretty much chewed up, so I've just rebaited that one. Onto the show, yeah. 2 size 2s, ragworm on each. Fishing a kind of wishbone, they're kind of like an offset. Couple of little beads there just for a little bit of bling, you never know. But the big rods are still out there, the bluey rods. I'm going to check them in a minute as well, just to see if they've been crabbed to death, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, fantastic day. If it wasn't for that wind, it'll be an absolutely perfect day. But I think they're stirring the bottom up, and it might just get the fish feeding, because I think we're going to need a little bit of help today. I think we're going to need a little bit of luck. If we can get a fish on the bank, one of us, one each, might be a bit too much to ask for, but anything. That's why the scratching rods are out as well. So as you would have seen, I'm not fishing very far out with that at all, probably about 15 yards. But at the low water line, I can see that this is a really shingly beach, and as soon as you get to the low water line, it's just really sandy. So there might be a flatfish out there, dab place or a flounder or something, just not too far out. I've got a flat-sided lead, but it's got no grippers or anything, so it can move about and search out a bit of water for me. A couple of small hooks, a couple of small ragworms. Might just nick a fish on a day that would otherwise be pretty fruitless. Fingers crossed. you go. So this is one of the little bait loaders that Mark makes in his shed. He's made a video about how to make these, but he's brought one down for me today to try out. So by all accounts, hook goes in there, and then you can just bind that on. And he wraps that around there a few times just to keep it nice and tight and the line out of the way. And then begins the wrapping process. Probably going to look really cack-handed doing this because it's the first time I've done it. But oh, look at that. I like the idea of that. That's pretty cool. Look at that. That's really cool. Yep, I like that. Whole squid. Right, there's a £9 bass out there with my name on it. And he's looking for a big squid bait. Don't let him down, do I? Oh, that elastic keeps snapping. Come on, sort yourself out. That's the beauty of this, you can go all the way up. When you're doing it by just your fingers, you obviously got the bit that you're holding with your fingers that you can't wrap up. With this needle, you can go all the way. Happy with that. And then he said you just bring it down a bit, move the hook out of the way and slide that out. And then there you have a perfect whole squid. You can bring that pennel hook up, wrap that round a couple of times, stick that in the top, put a bit of extra elastic around the top just so it would hold that pennel nicely, and there you go. Lovely, let's get that out there. I'm knackered running up and down that beach, it's quite steep, you know. Excuse me if I'm squinting, but that sun is right there. Anyway, I mentioned in the last video these little pink scissors that I bought, and I'll put a little link in the description, and a couple of you guys have gone and bought them, and because it's an affiliate link, I'll get a little kickback from that. It's not a lot, but it just helps the channel out a little bit. So whoever you are, I really appreciate that. That's those little things just help the channel, you know. If I need to buy anything, I can just put a little bit of money towards some new memory cards or whatever, you know. It just, and even a bit of bait so I can go fishing. It just helps out the channel, so really appreciate that. But just to show, when these are really bound up and you wind them in to put a new one on, I just find these little sharp scissors, just get in there and snip off that old elastic, that bait just comes straight off. Before I got them, and I was trying to get the hook out and the elastic was stretching, and it was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So I've found life a lot easier since I've had these. So yeah, good piece of kit. So that whole squid rod I've just put out, and this one I think I'm going to go back on the bluey. The two bluey rods are wound in. They've both been nibbled a little bit by the crabs, but to be honest, if I'd left them out for another hour, if no fish come along, probably bait would have been okay, because the bluey does seem to leak oils and blood for quite a while in the water. And where it's coloured, I think you need that bit of extra smell to help out. So yeah, I'm going to put bluey on this one again, and get this one back out there, and yeah, watch the rod tips, watch the boats go by. It's lovely, really lovely. It's really windy today. I think the wind's actually starting to get a bit stronger. There's definitely a few waves and a lot of white water out there that I can see, but tucked behind here it's pretty cool. Just wound in the ragworm rod and it was completely stripped. I've got no doubt it was crabs, but just rebaited it up. As you can see, probably there's really small worms. I think they're like maddies or something. They're really tiny, but that's what we want. This rod's all about scratching about for small stuff with small baits, and those two rods have got the big baits on. So I'm going to fling that back out. It's still early in the tide, so, but I think we're going to be doing well to catch a fish today. We have got to remain confident, but as every hour chips away, you know the score. Another great big ferry coming out. Yeah, it's nice. So I just wound in the scratching rod again and the hooks were completely bare, so a couple of fresh ragworms and got that back out again. Just have a bit of lunch now. It's nearly 1 o'clock. I think high tide was 15 or 20 past 3, so probably got about another 2 or 3 hours left of that. These rods have been quiet, but I'm going to leave them out there for a bit because there's no point keep winding them in and changing the baits if nothing's happening. When I wound them in earlier they were completely intact, so there's plenty of scent coming out of them. It's lovely having a chat with Mark though, again sat up there on his bucket having a bit of a chin wag and put the world to rights. Loads of sailing boats out there today, they're really leaning over. I think they're enjoying this wind. Not for me. Imagine how seasick I'd be out on one of them right now. Wow. Yeah, I'm not the best on boats. That's lovely, that is. Well, I don't believe it. I've wound the big rods in and I've taken the rigs off and I've put them down the side of the shelter. And I've decided that was it. I'm going to leave the scratching rod out, and when I wind it in next I'll make the decision whether I put a couple of ragworms on, chuck it back out, or whether I go home. And I've wound it in and I've got a blank saver. It's a tiny little whiting. And I caught a fish. How amazing is that? I think I might stay for a little bit now. Stick a couple more ragworms on and put it back out again. Yeah. Right at the top of the tide. I've pulled it out of the bag. What a result.